Welcome to the Tenkara Angler Level Line Podcast. My name is Mike Agnetta, and I'm really excited to bring you a fun episode tonight about the Idaho Tenkara Campout. Joining me are Matt Sment. How you doing, Matt?
Doing great. Glad to see everybody here. Excited to be talking about what was probably my favorite trip of the year.
Awesome. That's excellent. Amanda Hoffner, how are you doing, Amanda?
I'm doing well. I'm settling into my West Coast life, and I'm excited to talk about Idaho too. It was definitely the highlight of my year as well.
That's right. You're in the Pacific Northwest now, right? How's that going? Are you a full-fledged steelheader yet, or
I'm an Oregon girly. Yeah, I didn't realize how much everyone just loves steelhead, salmon. They're like the salmon run, and I was like, oh, they're running. They don't have legs, but they're running.
Well, we'll have to catch up on that separately a little bit. And then our two, special guests. First, we have Brent. Brent, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Brent Auger. I'm from DRAGONtail. I'm the face of DRAGONtail. I'm part owner. Been tenkara fishing for a long time. Not as long as some of these people in this group, but been doing it for a long time. I'm out in Idaho area, so.
Well, I appreciate you hopping on tonight. I know it's a busy time of year for you with the holidays around the corner and everybody buying DRAGONtail rods to put in stockings and under the tree and stuff like that. So I appreciate you taking the time out. And then we have Conrad. How are you doing, Conrad?
I'm doing great. I am on the other side of the state over in Boise, and been practicing, I guess, tenkara since 2013. Was introduced by taking my kids to a fly fishing group, and a lady pulled out a tenkara rod and gave a presentation. I thought that'd be great for the kids, and you know what's happened since then.
You're just a big kid. That's what happened, right?
I had to learn so I could teach my kids, and so that has many hours online, and then Oni school, and getting around to some different groups, and many rods later, I'm here.
Excellent. I think that's the path of every tenkara angler, the many rods later part of it. We tend to be hunters and fishers and gatherers.
I haven't quite got to the point of, selling off the excess ones. I should do that. I just haven't got there.
Is that what I see kind of over your, I guess it's your right shoulder? A bunch of rods?
A few. I mean, not all of them, but
show off that collection.
There are a few.
Well, cool. I appreciate you all joining tonight. I am the only one on this panel that did not attend the Idaho Tenkara Campout. So not only did I have a big case of FOMO while it was going on, I just want to understand what happened there, because I think I want to go next year. It sounds like all the initial reports were really good. It sounded like it was an awesome event, but I'd love to get some, firsthand accounts and details. Maybe what the organization was like, why you picked where you fished, what you fished for, and, just the general vibes. I think everybody that would be considering, this in the future, and we do have an announcement to make kind of at the end of this podcast, would be considering attending one of these, would appreciate, a little bit more background. So I'll just kind of throw this out, whether Brent, Conrad, whichever you guys want to jump in first. Where did the idea of having an Idaho Tenkara Campout come from?
I've always wanted to do one. And after attending the Wisconsin one last year, I decided I had to do it. Luan kind of made me announce it there.
We put you on the spot.
So, I was committed then. But, we've always wanted to do it. And, it's easy. We're just doing a camp out, right? We kind of kept it really simple. We didn't have presentations or giveaways and all that other stuff. Just kind of had everybody come gather and be together and go fish together. It was a great time. And I was trying to look for a place on the Boise side, because there's a lot of tenkara anglers over in the Boise area, and which is on the other side of the state for me. And I've never fished over there, so I figured it was a good excuse to get over there and fish places I've never fished in Idaho. So that's what we kind of was looking in that area. And then I went to the Idaho Tenkara group looking for suggestions of where we should do it. And Conrad, I guess he can jump in if he wants, kind of mentioned this place and gave a good pitch.
What's the location, Conrad?
So the location is the South Fork of the Boise. It's pretty well known in the fishing world for being a great spot for fishing. A lot of what people think is the South Fork below Anderson Ranch Reservoir, and people come from all over to fish that, which, it's great fishing, but it's not necessarily tenkara fishing. And there's a whole lot more people that we'd run into. So I figured above the reservoir is going to be a whole lot better for us. And so I was trying to think of somewhere that's not too far out of the way, but also is going to, have plenty of room for people to fish without bumping into other people. So, and the other nice thing is the campground's been fairly newly renovated. The group site is very nice, and they also, something that I like is they have a hot springs, a warm pool in the camp area. So after, slipping around in cold water on rocks and wearing yourself out, you can slip into the hot springs, and it's nice.
So, show of hands, how many people partook in the hot springs? I see Amanda, Conrad, not Brent and Matt. You guys weren't hopping in? All right.
I'm warm-bodied.
I just sat around the fire.
Yeah.
Every
But a
time
lot of-
I tried to make it over there, it was full of people. So
Yeah, I think a
just
lot of people did hit the hot pools, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great way to relax after a long day of fishing. So it sounds like you guys picked a great location.
Yeah.
Amanda, Matt, what did you think? Just coming in from the outside, what did you think of the campground or the location in case somebody wanted to go there in the future?
I think it was far enough away from the airport, the Boise airport. I think it was a 2-hour drive from Boise. I know that because I drove from Salt Lake, but had to return my rental to Boise because I had an accident. But yeah, it's far enough away where you're away from the crowd. That's my preferred place to be to fish anyway.
Was it fairly remote? Like once you were there, like did you have to bring everything you needed for the weekend or whatever? Yeah.
It was very remote. I would say definitely bring everything you need, but also other people had things, as the tenkara community goes, and everyone mostly knows if you've been to a tenkara campout or know other tenkara anglers, we have each other's backs. So if someone didn't have it, I know Brent, he brought his Starlink for people to use.
Oh, look at that.
In the evening. There was no service there. I doubt there will be service when I go back out there again in the future.
Yeah. I think you're about 45 minutes away from cell service.
Yeah, regardless of your carrier. So
yeah,
very remote, but perfect for tenkara fishing.
Yeah, you want to be where there's no people. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can drive 15 minutes from my house in downtown Boise and lose cell service. So it's Idaho.
Got it. So what was the general vibe, Brent? You mentioned that it wasn't really super organized. There weren't like classes or giveaways or things like that. Was it pretty chill? Were people setting up tents, hammocks, car camping? What was kind of the scene like?
Yeah, we just kind of tell everybody to show up and set up your rig and camp and fish. We didn't really have a schedule of any kind. And I think that actually turned out great. We had people that had overlander rigs, rooftop tents. A guy came on a motorcycle and a hammock. So, we had a wide variety. There was a lot of really cool stuff that people brought camping. We actually had somebody drive through our group campsite just checking out all the stuff because it was pretty cool. But yeah, it was awesome. People with all kinds of stuff. I didn't think anyone would show up on Thursday. I thought Thursday would be the day I'd show up and do all my fishing and get set up. But there was people that had been there already a couple days in other campgrounds before coming into our campgrounds.
Got it. So was it 4 days then? Was it Thursday to Sunday or to Saturday? What was the actual
Thursday. It was basically Thursday afternoon to Sunday morning. And most people stayed all the day, so I didn't think that was going to happen either. But yeah, we had people come from a long ways away. Obviously Matt and Amanda came from quite a ways away. Someone came from Pennsylvania. I can't remember his name. He had a huge beard. He came from, I think, Ohio, if I remember right. So there's some people that came from a long ways away. Of course, Montana and Utah and those areas as well, and even some from California.
Oregon, Washington.
Yeah, so you got them from all over. And if you're the bearded guy
All over.
from Ohio and you're listening to this, put your name in the comments. Identify yourself. Love to know
I'm
who you
terrible
are.
with names, so if I saw him again, I'd remember him, everything about him but his name. So I'm terrible with that.
On that note, we've really got to get better at getting the "Hi, my name is" name tags out at these campouts. Because I can, I'll remember your face for the rest of my life, but I can't remember my own name most mornings when I wake up, let alone everybody else's. But it was very well attended. It was a really friendly group of people, great campfire scene at night. I fizzle out like no later than 10 o'clock, but it sounded like people were having a really good time until late. But the one thing we haven't really talked about is the one thing that's like really critical to the trip, and that's the fishery. And like
That
what
was
kind
coming
of
up
fish
next.
were available. And if I could for a moment just describe how much space there was and how much selection of water you had out there is amazing. The South Boise itself was an incredible open canopy, bigger water hunter fishing type of thing. But then if you wanted smaller creeks, if you wanted medium water, there were feeder streams and tributaries that fed into it really nicely. So you really had like dealer's choice up there. Within like 20, 30 minutes of the campground was more water than you could fish in years.
Oh, yeah.
And just spectacular. We'll show you some of the pictures as Mike usually puts together the multimedia into this, but yeah, I've said enough. Why don't you guys, clue us in on what we were catching out there?
Yeah, the campground was great because you could walk straight from the campground to the water and fish and catch fish right there. I think a couple people did that. I think Amanda did that. Is that where you caught your kokanee, Amanda?
That was upstream, but I caught.
Upstream,
I mean, I think the river was 20 feet from our campground, maybe 30.
Yeah.
Like it was. You can hear it all night. It's perfect.
Yeah. We had kokanee, cutthroat, or not cutthroat, rainbows. There was
I caught a cutthroat.
bull
I caught a
trout.
cutthroat on the Boise,
You
the
did?
South Fork. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So, and there's bull trout there. I think 2 people caught bull trout. The kokanee were making the run up the river, so I mean that kind of screwed up the fishing a little bit because it pushed all the other fish out. But it was really fun watching them, and some people did catch some kokanee for their first time ever. So that was really cool.
I will say with the kokanee, because they're so bright red, they're spawning. You can actually, because this is a fishery that it's, how wide is that South Fork? Like 50 feet across. I mean, it's huge in some areas. So you can really see where the fish are holding because they're bright red. And it's places that I wouldn't expect them to be holding. I remember I was fishing with my really good friend Tom, and he's like, "You just passed all this good water." And I'm only fishing the edge because that's what I'm used to. But it's all wadeable. It's pretty shallow. And I'm short, and I was only up to my knees in some spots. But yeah, I mean, I was walking right through areas that there were kokanee, and I wouldn't have known that fish would be holding there if the kokanee weren't there. So it was really cool to actually be able to see fish behavior in terms of how they hold and where they hold in certain drifts and runs. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it for sure.
I guess one more fish that was there was the whitefish as well.
Yep.
And I catch whitefish in all kinds of places, but the whitefish on this river were really good size. They were, and they fought like crazy. Like normally they just shoot to the bottom. They were like flying in the air, like brown and brook trout, or they're just crazy all over the place.
Not to go on a tangent, but like, why do they have such a bad reputation? People don't like catching them, and I actually do. Like, is it because they don't eat them, or maybe I don't know. What, do anybody know why they have such a bad rep?
I think it depends on where you live. I mean, if you're in Montana, you catch so many of them, and it's not the fish you're targeting, and so you're like, another whitefish. But if you don't catch them all the time, they're fantastic. I think they're great. They do. They have some really small mouths though, so they're really hard to hook. So sometimes they get annoying that way. You get all these little hits, and you're like, "What the heck? I'm not getting anything," and they keep hitting it. But
they're little hits, but they're big
yeah,
fish. They're like
they're
big.
really big fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've saved many a fishing trip for me where you don't catch anything but whitefish, and hey,
And they're yellow. They're
We'll
not
take
even
'em.
white.
Yeah.
They're yellow. They're golden. And they actually remind me of grayling, and they probably are
Yeah.
very closely related.
I think that's a really good comparison. You know, and that was the first time I had caught whitefish. We don't have them in the Midwest, and that grayling, it really, that was the impression I got off of them too. That top fin, really a similar shape
Yeah.
there.
So it sounds like the water was pretty big. Were you guys fishing long rods? Like what was, I know everybody has their own personal setup and I'm sure they're all DRAGOntail rods. So we'll just set that straight right now. But in terms of like
I'm sure there's plenty others.
in terms of like what you guys were using, like were you using like 13-foot rods? Like what was everybody's setup for fishing?
I think I was a 13 the whole time.
Yeah.
That's pretty typical for me. That my sweet spot is, 395 to 405, really. So I think I actually did fish Ragnarok 400 most of the time.
Yeah, and I fished that Kokura 400 prototype my first session on the water, and would have hogged that rod to myself all weekend if I hadn't been allowed to. But then I dropped down to like a 12-foot rod, and I actually did even better on the second day. So I don't think like length was like a big factor.
Yeah. Yeah, you could reach a lot of holes. Yeah. I don't know that I'd go shorter than a 12 on that water, but there were small creeks and stuff that you could have gone a lot shorter with.
Yeah, my arm just gets tired with any 400 rod that I use. Unfortunately, I did try the Kokoro 400. It's a stellar rod. I fished it all day, even up further where the stream was much smaller, maybe half the size of the South Fork. Really great rod in terms of bringing in those big rainbows. Oh man, I really want to curse the big rainbows. But yeah, 12-foot was perfectly fine. I like more intimate Tenkara fishing anyway. But
you're a small stream gal, so that probably a big river was a bit of a change, right?
Yeah, and like I said, I was walking through all the holes apparently. Still catching fish, but I was really fishing the bank. So I was walking down the middle fishing the bank because I don't know. That's just I got to get better though. I'm on the West Coast now. So.
Did everybody fish somewhat near camp? Like, were there? I think you might have mentioned it, Conrad, in the beginning. Like, were there other tribs you could have went to? Did anybody like kind of go away from camp, or did everybody kind of stay close?
I stayed on the main river most of the time. I mean, you go up far enough, and it splits into the Big Smoky Creek, and I fished some of that. I kind of want to go back there next year with my mountain e-bike and ride up that way up quite a few miles because it was a pretty smooth trail. And now you can take motorcycles on. There's hunters with doing the bow and arrow thing, but I'd like to go clear up that. But there's a lot of little creeks. I didn't fish them this time. I will next time, but I know there was quite a few guys that fished a couple of the small creeks and did very, very well. Lots of fish in them.
I spent a week or two after the event camped further upstream, partially on the Boise there, and then on the Big Smoky. And the Big Smoky fished phenomenally. It had I had a day there. It was where I just fished 2 hours, but I brought in like 15, 16 fish, and it was excellent, interesting water, picturesque Idaho mountains, southern Sawtooth Mountains and everything. And if I could put that 2 hours in a bottle as like the epitome of my Tenkara mountain fishing experience, it would be all I would ever need to revisit.
Yeah.
So I want more of that. So I want to go back. Well, next year, I'm hoping to have some sort of excuse to head out that way.
So the funny part is that the South Fork, I don't actually fish it that much. I often am fishing the North Fork and the Middle Fork, which is a little bit closer for me in Boise. But usually I do a fall trip out there because, fall is a little nicer time to take advantage of those hot springs. But oftentimes I'm fishing the North Fork and the Middle Fork. So Matt, you'll need to let me know when you're out and about, and I can show you some of those spots because they're equally as good. And really, honestly, you could drive from the South Fork and hit both of those forks. It'd probably take you an hour and a half maybe to hit both of them. But those two rivers are probably about 15 minutes apart from each other. I figured it was a little too remote for a camp out situation,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot of fantastic water around. I can tell you, nobody was happier that the fishing was good since I'm the guy that chose the location. I was a little bit concerned that because I'd fished it probably 2 weeks before and I caught fish, but it wasn't that great. It was also super hot. I mean, it was over 100 degrees and there were tons of people out. I've never seen so many people. It was Labor Day, I think, or, the last.
Oh, that'll do it.
And it was just insane. And I thought, oh man, what have I signed everybody up for? But luckily, things kind of, people cleared out and the weather cooled down a little bit. And I was super glad that everybody did as well as they did.
Yeah, it was a great location. And I just wanted to add that, even though it was your gravel Forest Service road, it really wasn't terrible to get out there. Ride. It was still pretty accessible and, definitely something you could have brought pretty much any standard vehicle down. You absolutely did not need any sort of off-road type of capability to get back there. It really had a unique combination of accessibility and privacy.
Yeah, are those streams mostly spring or freestone? I think they were just meandering, so I couldn't really tell.
I would say freestone as opposed to spring. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only freestones that I'm used to seeing are high gradient, but all of this water was easily accessible. It was a lot of meandering. Even if there was a really high gradient, it would even out. And the next, you drive 5 seconds down the road and you're hitting some more flat water, easily accessible.
Yeah, and there were pullouts everywhere too, which is, really like I said, pick your epic speed to fish.
And so much public land and water. I mean, there were bathrooms there, which I really liked. I didn't use them, but I just know there were outhouses right there.
Held it in all weekend, huh?
Well, when in Rome, when in Idaho.
Now, so you mentioned, y'all mentioned obviously we talked about the whitefish a little bit, and we talked about, some of the other, kokanee, whatever. I think one of you mentioned there were bull trout too. Did anybody catch bull trout from this group?
Yeah.
Two people caught bull trout. Amanda caught one. Or did you catch one or two?
Just one.
Just one. There was another guy that was there. This guy's 6'9", 6'10". Mm-hmm. I can't remember his name. I consider him Idaho Bigfoot Tenkara.
We'll get his name in the comments
net,
too.
Right? He made the net.
Size 17. Yes. Yeah, he made a Tamo net while we were there. He has size 17, but he caught two.
Oh, nice.
One of them was 16 inches too. It was pretty decent size. So, and he caught a kokanee. So he caught just about every fish that was there.
Oh man, Idaho Bigfoot knows his stuff. We need him to identify himself too. Well, that's cool. So
he was a great guy.
You caught one, Amanda. I've never fished for bull trout before. Do you have to fish for them any differently, or is it just any other?
I actually ended up catching them on the South Fork of the Boise, north of where we were fishing, so upstream. Okay. It was right before a whole bunch of upstream water that I didn't want to climb up. So I ended up walking. I parked my car, I walked down, and then I fished up to my car and catching a lot. They're in the family of the brook trout. And I guess they aren't as plentiful as they should be, but because I think it was 20-1, bull trout that day that I caught. But I caught it on a cutcliffe fly, actually. I was trying to fish mostly topwater because I was kind of getting bored drifting my nymphs because those would create. I would always catch the whitefish with those. It gets boring when you're catching a lot of fish. So I was like, well, I'm going to try to elicit a bigger strike. So I ended up catching, I act like I haven't fished in a month, which I haven't. So it's kind of sad. But what are the cutthroat that are in that upper part? West
I
Slope.
can't remember
West
what's
Slope.
in
I
West
think
Slope.
that's
So
what
I
they
ended up
are.
catching a rainbow, a kokanee, a West Slope cutthroat, and a bull trout that day on Cut Cliffs.
That's
Like,
some sort of slam. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
downstream approach. It was
Nice.
It was a lot of fun.
Were you,
It was a lot
were
of
you
fun.
dipping the bob?
I didn't do 2 flies that day. It's just
Okay.
one. Although I do love a good dibble.
Everybody does. Everybody does.
That's right.
I feel like that should be a T-shirt. We
Yeah.
couldn't do it, but Jonathan has to like come
There
out
you
with
go.
T-shirts
Yeah.
that say like, do you
Dipping the bob?
dib your bob or do you dibble or something like that. Too good. So the other question that I had, just being an East Coaster, is when I go fishing in the mountains and stuff around me, the only other animals that are out there maybe you'll run into is a black bear, and they're pretty. You make a noise and they go away or whatever. Were there animals out and about where you guys were at that you needed to be concerned about?
I didn't see any.
Maybe
I know
theoretically.
There's probably moose and stuff, but where we were fishing, it's pretty open on the side,
Okay.
so they're not going to be in that area anyway because they don't want to be seen. So,
Got it.
if you were to go hiking up some of the creeks, you might see something, but I'm not exactly sure what's in that area right there.
Yeah, in my
Uh,
20 years of fishing, or near 20 years of fishing all the forks of the Boise, I have run into 2 bears and at a distance, and they were running the other direction as soon as they saw me. That's
Like grizzlies or black bears?
no black bears.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we don't have any grizzlies on this
Yeah.
side of the
So I
state.
did some research on this before I camped solo there for a few weeks, and so it's black bear country, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't consider it serious black bear country because the campgrounds and stuff, they don't have any bear signs. They don't have
Oh,
any
sure.
bear boxes.
Yeah.
There's no like defensive effort whatsoever visible up there. So I think Conrad probably, encountered them about as much as people do up there.
yeah. It was actually up on the middle fork and the North Fork where I saw the bears. There was a moose one year, not a moose. Oh, maybe it was a moose. Yeah, it was a moose actually in the South Fork campground, but one time out of however many years of fishing there. So I never saw it, but heard about it.
I did have a decent amount of animal encounters while I was there. One of the places that I parked every night right before or just after dusk, I could hear the mule deer moving
cool.
along the ridge,
yeah.
the ridge into cover for the night above me, just kind of kicking rocks down the street and everything.
That was Sasquatch.
It might have been.
I believe.
I got out and hit him with the flashlight a couple of times and saw him. But what I saw most of and what I saw tons of was bald eagles and red-tailed hawks and ospreys and kingfishers.
Birds of prey, yeah.
And consequence to this, I saw several flying kokanee salmon
Yeah.
that were like
In their
taking
talons.
their last ride.
Easy
Yeah.
targets.
But yeah, they were everywhere, and it was really something to observe. I really enjoyed that for the couple of weeks I was sitting up there.
Idaho is pretty well known for birds of prey. We don't even
yeah.
think about those as being special, really, because there's so many of them.
But there was a lot in that area compared to some other
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it was a pretty good event. What was the vibe like at night, like at camp? I mean, it sounds like you guys, would have a great day out at fishing. Was it like a big campfire? Was there communal food in any way, or was it just everybody kind of did their own thing?
Yeah. I tried to make some food available. Nobody wanted it. So. But the campfire was definitely great. I mean, there's a lot of people stayed around the campground talk. Most of them went to bed about the same time as Matt, but a good group of us stayed up till like 12 every night. I think
I think
last
there was
night,
some warm sake passed around at one point.
yeah,
That's
the
fun.
last night there was some warm sake, but I think the last night nobody wanted to go to bed. They didn't want it to end, so
Oh, that's awesome. That's
we were
great.
up till like 2:30 in the morning just talking. So it was great.
And how many people? I forget. Do we have a head count?
You know what? I'm still pretty iffy on what the number was. It's got to be somewhere in between, somewhere around 30, maybe a little more.
Like throughout the weekend for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a very conservative estimate.
I think so too. It was more than
I
that.
think
Yeah.
I would put it over 50 at max. Like at its peak is
Yeah.
the term I was
Yeah.
looking
And
for.
with 50 there, was it crowded? Like just in terms of like the space,
No.
or was people kind of spread out?
No, we were all we were all spread out. We had a whole loop to ourselves basically.
Okay.
And there's this pullouts throughout the whole loop, but then it had a center area. And we filled up the whole loop, and we had a overflow on the other side, and only one person used the overflow. We could add a lot more people there.
Yeah, for a camp out, and I know I've been to a crap ton. This was really nicely spread out. I thought it was awesome. No one was on top of each other, and
That's good.
Yeah.
So you could hang out with people that you don't remember the name of, and then you could go retreat to wherever and get your peace and quiet afterwards, right? Yeah, that's good. That's good. I love being around people, but I need my decompression time as well. Well, it sounds like it was an awesome event, and obviously, as we kind of teased in the beginning, you guys are going to do it again next year, right? In 2026.
Yeah. And I thought about going back to the same place, but I kind of want to spread it out, and so we're going to do it this year or this coming year, August 27th and through the 30th. We picked a place over by Alpine, Wyoming, so it's right on the border of Idaho and Wyoming, by the Palisades Reservoir. And so you can kind of fish either one from there, either direction. You basically go right over the border if you go towards Idaho, like almost immediately. So, but that'll get us on the east side of Idaho and into a great valley in Wyoming that has lots of tributaries and hike and fish stuff if you want to do that. The great rivers there with miles and miles and miles of water and access to fish, with lots of tributaries as well. So we're going to do it on the east side of Idaho into the Wyoming side a little bit, this coming year. I think we'll try to get back to the Boise one in 2027. That campground was fantastic. It's probably the best group campsite I think I've ever been in. Just the way it's organized and the stuff that was there. I mean, besides modern technology, it had everything else, and it was
there was
so
a pavilion
nice.
too. There was a pavilion.
Huge pavilion. The campground in Idaho is not quite as nice, but it is pretty. Lots of trees. We are closer to the main road,
The one in
which
Wyoming.
can get a little busy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, over by Alpine. But it's close to all the fishing. It's the only group site over there. But it should be a ton of fun. I know we announced it online on Facebook, and there's already a lot of people pretty interested, and we're gonna have lots of space there. So and there you can stay in the campgrounds, or you can go into Alpine and stay in hotels, cabins, or Airbnbs.
Oh, got it. So it's a little bit closer
And
to a town or whatever is than the last
Oh
one.
yeah, and there's tons of canyons with campgrounds too, so not everybody has to be in the campground, but we'll have the campground so that you can come at night and hang out with us. We'll definitely try to do better at getting pictures of everyone who comes and do more of that. I looked through my photos from the last one, and all of it was of when I was fishing. None of it was of the people.
Oh,
and
no.
I really, I really regret that. So there were some great people there that were awesome, and I'd like to remember them better. But hopefully they'll come back in 2027. We can do it again there.
I was going to say, I think it's a great idea to switch back and forth between east
Yeah.
and west because, I don't get over there fishing a whole lot. So it's kind of cool to go over and experience, the other side of the state. And then you guys can, I tried to get Brent over here a bunch of times and he's always too busy. So no, I think it's,
Stop fishing, Brent.
I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome to switch back and forth every other year. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. It'll bring more people together, I think. Yeah.
And it's not that far. I mean, from Boise, I looked it up. It's only 5 hours. So those of us from this area, if you live in Boise, 5 hours is nothing for driving.
And I
mean,
think Salt Lake is probably less than 5 hours too from there as well.
it is. Yeah.
In terms of airports for
Yeah.
people to fly in, I would, So
Yeah, that's a good point. I would be flying in most likely and driving.
yeah.
5 hours is nothing
Yep.
for me either, by the way, but it would be good to know where to fly into, I guess.
Yep.
I think either way is pretty straight shot. Like all the highways out there are just
Yep.
boop boop.
It's probably cheaper
Yeah.
to get into Salt Lake than Boise.
I do want to say something before I forget.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
said there was no giveaways, but I'm pretty sure I have a DRAGONtail hat from Brent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did do.
we did
brought
do
some
giveaways.
beanies one cold night and just handed them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did some giveaways, I guess, but not
Yeah.
like a raffle or anything that sometimes you see at some of the
It was even better. It
Tenkara
was just
gatherings.
free.
Yeah.
And some of
that's
those
one thing we're
prototypes
gonna
might
try
have
to do.
disappeared.
We're going to try to keep it. I thought about charging this year, but I think we're just going to keep it free and make it easy for anyone to come. We just don't want there to be any barrier to someone coming and hanging out with us, even if it's last second they show up.
Got it. So that's
Love
a
it.
good point. So there was no reservation or anything or registration, I
No.
guess, for this year or next?
We kind of did a registration just for me to know
How many
what
were
to
going to show?
expect. Yeah, and it was. I think there was a little less than what people reserved, but that's okay. It just gave me an idea of what I was up against, and being my first event. So we'll probably do that again, but it's not like if you sign up, you have to show up or you're committing money or anything. And if you stay in our campground, it's going to be free. I mean, you don't have to pay for anything. DRAGONtail paid for the campsite, so we don't expect anything back from it. So
And people just found out through your email, right? Like your email.
yeah, we sent
and
out
they
an
done
email
through Facebook as well.
newsletter
Yeah.
and the Idaho Tenkara Facebook group, and I think one of the other groups we announced it. We really didn't push it, and we still had a good turnout. So next time, I think we'll be filling up more of that overflow next time we do it in Boise.
Yeah, especially if folks have like
Yeah.
a year to plus or whatever to plan.
Yeah. It was kind of short notice for the Idaho one, so this one we'll have lots of time for people to plan.
Cool. Well, we'll put it on our events page at Tenkara Angler too. We like to list all of the events that we know about for the upcoming year, so people, if they want to plan their Tenkara calendars or whatever they might be, they can use that as a reference. So that would be anybody that's listening. If you're going to be holding a camp out or an event or a gathering or something like that, let us know and we can put it on our website as well, alongside the one that's going to be, I guess it will be called the Wyoming Tenkara Campout, right? This upcoming year? Is that?
Yeah. I was thinking about calling it Idaho, Wyoming.
Yeah.
But it's really Wyoming. So I think it's a good way to keep them kind of different names so we know where we're at when we change up from back and forth from the two. I hope one of these years we can find a place in Utah to do it too. I know there's a lot of Tenkara anglers in Utah. We got a couple of them that came to this Idaho one, but I'd like to find a place that we can do it in Utah too. It's a little harder to get group campsites in Utah because there's a lot bigger population that eats it. They reserve them all up real quick, but I'd like to do it in Utah. If anyone's listening that knows of one we can get.
I have a feeling there's one person in listening.
Yeah.
Skitty Fishing, our buddy Peyton.
Yeah.
He's probably
Maybe
on that
they can
already.
help
Peyton's coming in hot. He's
Help
like,
us organize one. Yeah.
He was on a podcast not that long ago and kind of gave us a whole run of up and down, I guess. What was it? Provo, that area? I even tried to remember off the top of my head. And it was really awesome. And he made it sound like there were tons of places that would accommodate, not only the anglers, but, the fishing as well that they'd be looking to do. So that'd be great.
Yeah, and that would be the other thing. Lots of miles of access to water. Yeah. But yeah, hopefully we can do one in Utah sometime. But I think we'll switch back and forth from Wyoming and Idaho. If someone can help us organize a Utah one, we'll just fit it in with them. I think they're doing one in Colorado every year now. I think that's what they said they were going to do too. Hopefully I can get to that one this coming year too. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's cool to see them popping up again, like on the calendar. Like when Tenkara, like you go back like maybe 5-10 years, it felt like there was more of organized events, whether it was by brands or just by groups of anglers or Facebook groups or whatever. The
little creek takeovers, those were
things like that, awesome. Things like that, and they've kind of fallen off. But it's nice to see that, we kind of have some events popping up out in the West, because we've been, at least our group has been very, kind of Midwest and Eastern focused. It's good to have some representation in the West too, kind of cover all the bases for everyone, all the various mountain ranges.
West Side.
Not to put you on the spot, Amanda, but maybe we could do something in Oregon at some point.
Yeah.
I'm starting to talk to Jim, who did the bug outs for a few years in a row. So we're thinking
nice.
We got some things in the works, possibly. So
that would be cool.
Early next year,
Awesome.
possible to announce.
Excellent.
Super.
Excellent. I did not know that, by the way, when I said that. So I appreciate
Oh, I thought you did. No, I'm
she's
kidding.
giving me that wink for those that are just listening and not watching on YouTube. Well, that's cool. Yeah, so it's cool that sounds like we'll have a robust calendar of a lot of events. So I really appreciate you kind of stepping up and having this for the folks out in the in the mountain area.
People are going to have problems trying to decide
which one do I go
ones
to, right? Yeah.
And the right answer is all of them.
If you can.
Yeah. Just don't do it on the same weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of people between the Colorado and ours. They had to choose because they were so close together.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think they'll probably do theirs late again, which will be perfect for ours. So maybe some of us can hit theirs as well. I just wanted to mention too that DRAGONtail kind of sponsored this and reserved the campground, but in no way is it DRAGONtail focused in any way. I just wanted to you bring whatever rod you want. All the brands are welcome to come to them. It's not like we're branding this as a Tenkara or a DRAGONtail Tenkara.
So even Luong's allowed to show up?
Yeah. Luong should show up. Yeah. Guys over Wasatch Tenkara, Tenkara Rodco, any of those guys. Come on over and bring your rods too and show them up. I don't care. It's just an everyone Tenkara thing. We just want to make sure it happens more often.
Yeah, that's super cool. Super cool. That's the one thing that I really love about the Tenkara community is it does seem like, even though some of the brands are technically competitors, like everybody seems to get along at the end of the day. So that's just really cool that we can still have that in this community. It's a tight-knit community, and it's not about, selling my rod over yours or, whatever it might be.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think we've kind of covered mostly everything as far as camp out wise, unless there's something that I left out that comes to any of your minds. Anything else? Any final thoughts that you guys have on the camp out proper?
Not that I can think of. Hopefully some of the other guys who attended will jump in the comments below and share stuff their experiences. I know they went different places around there, so that would be great if some of them can get on here too and comment as well. But yeah, I can't think of anything. Yeah.
Well, then we'll kind of wrap it up then, unless anybody else has anything that they want to add. I don't know, Brent, the holidays are coming up. We'll probably have this go out before Christmas. You don't have to if you don't want to, but do you have any deals or offers or things like that planned for the holidays with DRAGONtail? You might as well plug them if you got them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have some like Black Friday and that. I don't know if this will go out before Black Friday. But we got a couple rods, like the mini rods are on sale right now, both of them. We got the Cater rod on sale, the Foxfire is on a really good sale. If you get on our newsletter, we'll throw a couple other deals in, getting closer to Christmas. It'll be a little different. And then on our website, there's in the top menu, there's a holiday deals link as well.
Okay.
I try to list most of them there. So
got it.
If you're not on our newsletter, there'll be some on there. Yeah.
Your flies are usually on sale too. I know I get some messages about flies, and I always direct them to your website because you always have a great variety.
I think we'll do early in December. We'll do a fly sale again.
Nice. Yeah.
Off season, I like to keep. We got our tires out in Kenya. They do a great job tying them, but we like to try to keep them busy because this is their livelihood. So when we're in the off season, we do all the sales to keep the flies moving for them. So we take less margin, but keep them busy and keep their businesses going. So
and they're good Christmas gifts for sure.
Yeah. That's a note. So even if you don't need a rod, everybody, make sure you're visiting DRAGOntail, stock up on flies, level line, all that stuff
Flies,
that
lines.
come spring when you want to go fishing again, you're like, oh, I've only got, 2 feet left of my level line. I need a whole new spool. You can get it now.
Is your
Sounds like.
tapered nylon back in stock?
They're coming soon. I think we'll get them in
Okay, cool.
December sometime.
Yeah, they are a crisp line for sure.
Oh, yeah,
They
you like that one.
We had a lot, but they disappeared.
Yeah, it's a great.
Yeah. They disappeared really quick when we got them, so we should get
I
those
know.
back. We do have our DRAGOntail size 3 level line. I have a huge overstock because they accidentally got ordered twice.
Ooh.
So for $10, you can get a spool of DRAGOntail size 3 level line.
Oh, nice.
Right now, through the end of the year. That's a
that's
deal
nice.
that's going on.
That's basically 2 for 1, right? I mean, like,
Yeah, basically, yeah. So sweet deal on those that we got. But yeah, we'll get that tapered model or nylon line back sometime in December, I think. So, and it's a great price, just regular price.
Thanks for everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. For this kind of recap of the Idaho Tenkara Campout. Again, there's going to be one next year. I'm sure Brent has details. I think he said he put them on Facebook. I'm sure they'll be in the newsletter and probably on his website as well. So
I
make
got
sure
the details on the website right now. Lots of photos that we took when I went with Tom Davis.
Oh,
And
great.
drove up the Grays Canyon. But there's creeks all over that valley, so there's no way I could take photos of all of them.
If you do the right research, there's a bunch of native streams for cutthroat. There's 3 different cutthroats right in that area.
Yeah,
If you
that'll
play
be
your
the
cards
big thing
right.
in Wyoming. Lots
Yeah.
of wild cutthroat. Lots and lots of them.
The cutthroats.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Bring it
Yeah.
on. But we'll put the links to, those various places to find out information, as well as we'll update, like I said, the events page on Tenkara Angler if anybody wants to kind of, circle the date on their calendar and start planning ahead. Conrad, if people wanted to get a hold of you, just to kind of find out about fishing, in the Boise area, what would be the best way for them to do so?
Facebook works great. Yep, I would just say, look me up and send me a message. That's probably the easiest way.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I guess we'll kind of wrap it up. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight, for this episode of the Level Line podcast. And if I don't talk to you all, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. Talk to everybody soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Awesome.